What scares you? Emotions that drown you in its weight, or cold mechanical logic that leaves you no room to breathe? One shaped by the storm inside you, the other by the emptiness that knows no depth. What will it be? The all consuming emotions that control you, or the unfeeling logic that disregards you? This is Dandadan. Dandadan is a supernatural absurdist comedy with a blend of romance following two high schoolers, Okarun and Momo, as they get caught between vengeful spirits and belligerent aliens. What starts off as a challenge to prove whether aliens or ghosts are real quickly spirals into this chaotic battlefield filled with high speed chases, bizarre enemies, and an ever growing supernatural battlefield. The anime adaptation brings this madness to life with fluid, high speed animation that mirrors the series' rapid pacing and dynamic action. Through a blend of expressive character work and stylized movement, it elevates Dandadan's already explosive energy to the next level. But beneath its high speed battles and eccentric humor lies something far more compelling. At first, it's easy to get lost in the absurdity, but as the story unfolds, you start to notice two opposing values presented by its two antagonists. One driven by raw, uncontrolled emotion, other by cold, inhuman logic. This contrast portrayed by aliens and spirits becomes even more evident as the narrative starts to shape. Take Turbo Granny for instance. At first, Turbo Granny is downright hilarious. She's crude, petty, and absurdly hostile. And the sheer nonsense of her stealing someone's balls makes it easy to laugh at her. And yet, even in this absurdity, you can feel that her malice feels personal, driven by something far beyond mere mischief. As the series progresses, that underlying fury takes shape. Turbo Granny wasn't always a vengeful spirit. She was once a presence that comforted spirits of young girls who had met tragic, horrifying ends. She bore witness to their suffering and unjust deaths, and over time she became their fury. Her curses weren't random. It was driven by an animalistic instinct of self-preservation, for anyone who entered her territory was immediately treated as a threat. Stealing reproductive organs wasn't merely an act of cruelty. It was her way of punishing those who wronged the girls in life, a reflection of deep emotional trauma that she carried. She is the raw emotion of vengeance, so overpowering that it no longer distinguishes between the guilty and the innocent. In similar vein, acrobatic Silky's actions was driven by trauma, though her emotions take a different form. While Turbo Granny's fury manifests in vengeful anger, Silky's deep emotional wound takes root in an overwhelming, almost obsessive maternal instinct. Born from the trauma of losing her child, Silky's need to protect and love becomes so consuming that it blurs the line between rationality and delusion. Her obsession with Ira, who she believes to be her daughter, grows from this profound loss. Silky's entire existence becomes centered around the need to care for and shield Ira, with her maternal bond transcending life and death. However, just as Turbo Granny was consumed by vengeance, acrobatic Silky is consumed by a desperate need to reclaim what she lost, her child. Her obsession becomes her entire identity. In a twisted attempt to protect Ira, she becomes blinded by her need for control and validation. She cannot understand why Ira doesn't call her mother, and in her delusion, she believes eliminating any threat of their connection is the only way to preserve her love. To Silky, this obsessive love is an act of protection, but it drives her to violence. In reality, Silky's evil nature isn't inherent. It's a result of the trauma she endured, the love and loss that turned into an obsession. Her actions reflect a broken heart, desperate to preserve what she can never have back. When Silky was ultimately defeated, she's forced to confront the truth. Her actions that were driven by the need to protect Ira ultimately hurts her. In her final selfless act, she sacrifices herself to save Ira, offering upon her soul to protect the girl she believed was her daughter. In doing so, Silky finally understands the true meaning of love and protection, the one that goes beyond mere obsessive attachment and delusion. Her sacrifice, born from deep trauma and misguided love, becomes a form of redemption, allowing Ira to survive